So guys, Xiaomi has another new phone and it's launched in China and it's called the Xiaomi Civi. I know that this phone is used to be the Xiaomi CC. Okay, so it's basically your camera-centric phone, which is called the camera series. But of course, due to some copyright issue, they need to change their name into Civi. So let's open. So here in my table is the all-new Xiaomi Civi. So this is the continuation of their CC series, which is camera series. And yeah, they bump into some copyright problems, so they have to rename and change it to CV. But basically, it's their camera series. And yeah, you can see that the box is so thin. Always this time around, Xiaomi doesn't include the charger, so you have to buy it separately. A 55-watt scan charger from Xiaomi. So we'll open it up right now and see what's inside. So there we go. Opening the box. There. Okay. So just have to slice it better here. So yeah, we can see that it's a Xiaomi Civi. On opening the little box over here, so you have your SIM ejector pin, probably a Type C to audio jack adapter over here, and yeah, it's right. And as well as, of course, your nice jelly case over here. We also have your user guide. Nothing else, just the phone, and no nothing. Okay, so you can see that the phone, the color blue is really nice. I would really love to hold on the color pink, which is, I guess, would be a lot better. That color pink is so dope. And yeah, nevertheless, the blue is also nice. So this is the color blue, and it's really nice. You can see that whenever it touches the light, it turns into rainbow color from blue to probably sunset color. And you can see the camera module is a little bit different from the other phones that Xiaomi has released. Okay, so this lens is big. Well, probably almost the same as the Xiaomi 11T series or 10T series, wherein the biggest sensor is the main sensor. So yeah, they kind of make it look better this time around. Look more elegant. So underneath, you can see it's a little bit of color gold instead of the usual silver. So you have the SIM tray, you have the Type C port, you have the loudspeaker, and constellation mic. On the right side, it's pretty clear, pretty clean. You have also curved glasses. On top, you have of course, your typical IR. Okay, so your noise cancellation mic and another speaker over here, which is Dolby Atmos. Then on the right side, you always have your power button and, of course, your volume rocker. So upon powering up, it's, yeah, the new Xiaomi logo is on full display. Here's the main wallpaper. It's really nice. I like the wallpaper. It's very refreshing. And swiping left and right, it's definitely very smooth. And yeah, there's really a lot to love about this phone. So hi guys, it's me Richmond of Gadget Sidekick and welcome back to my channel. So I have here on my hands just unboxed the Xiaomi Civi, and it's a very powerful phone, almost the same as that of the Xiaomi Mi 11 Li-Fi GNE. It also sports the Snapdragon 778 and it's a 5G capable processor. And I know that this phone can really perform. I was able to try a lot of multitasking on this one and it didn't even give me a hiccup. Really nice. Yeah, I know that throwing all those multitasking to this 6nm chip is definitely just a walk in the park. And I was able to gather a 518,000 points here on Antutu version 9.0.12. And well, for me, this is something really nice. The score is really nice for a mid-range of this category. This is the score of last year's flagship, and I can say that, well, it really was able to blow me away with all those speed inside this one. And yeah, checking some other benchmark, was able to gather some more good scores on iTutu. Scoring a 313,000 points is also a good sign. Now, probably one downside on this one is that it's just a level 3 security level of wideband on DRM info. And yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't put this to level 1, since it's a nice phone. It has all the specs that you want inside this one, and it's really light. Hey, to be honest with you, this is almost as light as the Xiaomi Mi 11 Lite 5G NE. This is just 166 grams. For me, it's another one of those light series from Xiaomi. And I think the trend right now is to go lighter as opposed to those heavy ones like the Mi 11 Ultra, which is definitely something really heavy on your hands, on your pocket. But of course, the Mi 11 Ultra having all those goodies inside, unlike this one. But well, this one I can say that it really can perform. And right now, checking the specs of its screen, it has a 6.55-inch OLED display. It has a 1 billion colors. It is supported by Dolby Vision HDR10+, 120 Hz of screen refresh rate, and almost 1,000 nits for its max brightness. And I can say that this brightness is really something that I like. And I was able to watch some videos and read some messages under the direct sunlight. And yeah, that is definitely no problem. So I was able to watch some videos on this one on YouTube and of course on Netflix. And I can say that the display on this one is really bright, and was able to enjoy it together with the Dolby Atmos. And the sound is really firing out loud on both sides. I can see that I was able to feel the music. I was able to watch it more immersively using this phone. And of course, the OLED display on this one gives me that enjoyable display. The black is blacker, and of course, the colors are punchy. Definitely watching videos is definitely very enjoyable. Of course, talking about video and audio, this one is supported by Dolby Atmos. I was able to play Call of Duty on this one, and here are the settings. I was able to put some to the maximum, and yes, I can say that playing this game is really enjoyable. And of course, given the screen is 120 Hz of screen refresh rate, it's giving me that smooth transition, especially on gameplays, especially on watching videos. The 120 Hz really is very important nowadays. Now, the gameplay overall, I can say that it's really nice. I was able to play this for roughly an hour and a half, and well, the battery did warm up a bit, but it's still tolerable, and definitely was able to finish the whole game, several whole games, and was able to come on top. The touch response is really fast on this one, and yeah, I didn't really have much problem. I can say that this one doesn't really have that much of a frame drops on this one, since it's the Snapdragon 778G is powerful enough, and I can say that it's almost last year's flagship. So running games like PUBG, like Mobile Legend, like Genshin Impact, and of course Call of Duty is really a-okay, no problem on this one. And of course, the main selling point of the Xiaomi Civi is the camera of this phone, and it has a 64 MP main shooter being its wide sensor, and it has an aperture 1.8, and it's a 26 mm lens. And I can say that, well, I was hoping that it's 108, but of course, the numbers doesn't really count. It's more of the integration of the camera to your phone. Now, together with it is a 8 MP ultra wide lens, 2 MP macro lens, and guess what? The front shooter is also nice. It has a 32 MP front shooter, and was able to take some good photos. Check it out. So I was really impressed with the camera of this phone. Was able to take some nice outdoor shot, some nice indoor shot, especially taking some selfie photos on this one is definitely enjoyable. But there are some times that it's a little bit too filtered. And of course, on taking some selfie shot, you can either choose natural or more classic. I'm not quite sure with what they mean about classic, but when I switch to classic, my face tends to look a lot smoother, like a K-pop star. This is the camera of the Xiaomi Civi, and yeah, it kind of looks nice. It looks very sharp, and of course, when you're hitting lighted area, it's sometimes overexposed, but yeah, was able to calibrate itself easily. That's the power of the Xiaomi Civi. It's a camera series, of course. Now I was able to take in some videos using this phone, and of course using the front and the rear camera, taking some videos is really enjoyable. I was able to get some very stable video using this one, and like just using my bare hand since I have that ultra stabilized hands, and of course the camera is definitely having its image stabilization intact, giving me that smooth transition taking some video using a 1080p at the rear and up the front, and was able to, I can really say that the phone is very much vlog worthy. And of course, especially mention the selfie camera on this one. My face really turned me into a K-pop star, and I was able to show the world that I could be a K-pop star, no needing those surgeries, and of course just using the camera of the Xiaomi Civi, it can give me that same look as a Korean star. Now the battery on this one is not the biggest among phones released by Xiaomi, just 4,500 milliampere hours of battery, and of course the charger is on a separate package. You need to purchase it separately since Xiaomi doesn't release phone these days with a charger intact. So in China, you need to buy it separately. Now, it is a 55 watts fast charger. This one can support, of course. I was able to drain it down to 18% and charging it back up to 100. And just took me 47 minutes just to accomplish the complete charge. And it's really fast. And of course, was able to try to get the rating of this phone for its screen on time. And I'm really impressed that it was able to give me a 15 hours and 29 minutes. Check it out. So I was using this phone for more than a week already. I was able to enjoy putting everything to the test. And well, it lasted me more than a day. And well, not more than a day and a half. And of course, those are based on normal usage, like just a bit of social media, some videos, some games, and of course, some calls. No heavy gamings, of course, it will definitely drain it pretty fast. Now guys, I'm really impressed with this one, the Xiaomi Civi series, and it gave me some really nice shot using the camera of this phone. Of course, mentioning the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, it's definitely the better one. So guys, do you find this phone interesting? I probably would highly suggest, if you are somebody who likes selfie, you can really check this one out. It's really nice. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, click that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos here from my channel. And so I'm Richard, and you're watching Gadget Sidekick. Watch out!